I just heard the bird yell. Well, hello everyone. How are you doing? And I do see Nathan already in chat. No, that's the same version of my intro that I've had. I just haven't been live for a while. And oh my God, do I have lipstick on my teeth? That needs to be a meme. That just needs to be like something I play every time. Do I have lipstick on my teeth? I think I need to make a t-shirt. That's it. I'm making a t-shirt that says, do I have lipstick on my teeth? All right, I was going to do a pre-recorded show, but I'm like, you know what? I haven't been live in a hot minute. So, this is not going to be a long show. Going to set it up in a moment, but first I do need to do my YouTuber stuff. Here we go. Subscribe. I know I should probably say this at the end, but I could pretty much guarantee you're either gonna like it, maybe love it, but like it or hate it. So you can give me a hate subscribe. I'd be fine with that. Follow me on Twitter. It's always entertaining. And last but not least, I always appreciate super chats, or you can become a patron at patreon.com/Pink Flame of Liberty. I have been putting up more previews, advanced previews of my pre-recorded items, and also some exclusive content. And the next exclusive content, we're done with the morality of capitalism, that book, little book discussion. We are starting from that book that's entitled From Mutual Aid to the Welfare State. I've had it forever and I've wanted to cover it. And anyone who's in YouTube chat, let me know if you can hear the birds yelling upstairs. I can hear them. I'm using the upper mic now. If you're wondering, a lot of y'all are used to this one, not using this one right now. So I'm just curious if it picks up the birds upstairs. Okay, let's get this off the screen and let me set up the video we are doing today. And yes, I do have my other cheaper camera over here, as you've got another view. Actually got that idea from Candace Owen. She does this one a lot, where this is just a slightly side shot, and I like it, but the color balance is way different. But say hello to the rooster next to Lady Liberty. Yes, I am very eclectic. All right. So, I get critiqued quite a bit on many things, but I get critiqued quite a bit that I'm always only playing clips from right-wing commenters. Now, this one's probably not going to alleviate that critique very much, because I am going to play a clip from a left-wing commenter, but I'm actually going to agree with them mostly. But this is a commenter that, or commentator, is that the right way? You know me, I mess up words constantly. This is a commentator that I normally don't agree with. So I'm going to start with the critique just of this commentator in general. I don't mean it personally. I don't know this person personally. We may have the greatest time going out and having a drink together. This is just about content. So in case he watches it and gets insulted, okay? I always say that Ben Shapiro, the way he annoys me. So yes, I'm not above like critiquing vocal style, and people are free to critique mine with the way I mispronounce words all the time. But this is a left-wing, very left-wing commenter who goes by the name of Suris, S-U-R-I-S. I think that's the way you pronounce it. And I've been watching him a long time. And he's one of those commentators that doesn't show their face. That always kind of bothers me a little bit, just like anonymous accounts on Twitter kind of do. Anyway, that's a personal choice. I get it. Some people can't show their face, don't want to because they have a face made for radio, whatever it might be. I know Suris does this full time though, so it's not out of fear for employment. But his delivery style, it gets on my nerves a bit. But what I find weird about it, and I'm sure plenty of people find weird about me, that, oh my God, a woman your age with pink hair. So listen, It's all fair game. I get the comments. You put yourself out there, you're going to get the comments. So Surus uses cartoon characters as his avatar. So you don't see his real face. And it used to be like this really kind of masculine, mystical kind of character he used to use. Now, it's probably some anime or something I'm not very familiar with, but I used to like actually enjoy it. It was like this kind of like caveman warrior one. But now he does this one that is a female avatar. And listen, fly your freak flag, I don't care. But it is so distracting because she's so bouncy. It's always I think you'll see when I play the clip. So what is the clip about? Now I'm going to agree with Surus on a lot of points, and it is about the rise of Christian nationalism. Yeah, it's very bodacious, Nathan. So this is about, again, the rise of Christian nationalism, which is something I've been sounding the alarm about for a while. And before all the Christians get all upset that don't normally watch my channel, I am a Christian myself, but I do consider myself a much more liberal Christian. And he does go overboard in his critique, and we will mock that. But the reason why I chose this one, because we have to go back in time a little bit. He is going to mention a former libertarian that I used to be decent friends with. Not friends in the sense that we ever met in person, but friends in the sense of we had multiple phone calls. I used to really enjoy his blog. I thought he was really well articulated. Here I am with the words again, articulate Christian libertarian, and he used to run a site called Reformed Libertarian. Had some of the best articles on the difference between government and the state. If you go back in the Wayback Machine and look up reformedlibertarian.com, he's probably embarrassed by that site right now, considering where he's at now. And it was somebody that I really looked up to when I was a much newer libertarian. But now this guy, and I'll say the name, CJ Angles, is now like a name in the post-libertarian Christian nationalist movement. And it really just hurts my heart because this is somebody that I admired. And to see him go full authoritarianism is bad enough. But Christian authoritarianism just really, oh. And the Christian Libertarian Institute today had a great tweet that said, Christian nationalism fails the test that Jesus passed. And it had like the image of Jesus being taken on the top of the tallest mountain in the area and shown all the cities of the world, and was like, just bow. And Satan was saying to him, just bow and worship me and I will give you all of this. And he's like, get thee behind me, Satan, my kingdom's not of this world. I'm paraphrasing, but you get the idea. These Christian nationalism people are trying to coerce in, allegedly, because sometimes I don't even think it's Christian values, but let's give them the benefit of the doubt, Christian values on to everybody. Now, as a Christian, more liberal one, admittedly, but even with my Christian values, do I wish people would voluntarily choose them? Of course I do. But I don't want to use the force of the state to compel atheists to live a Christian lifestyle, or Christians that disagree with me. And then, I'm sorry if my fellow Christians are going to cringe at me saying this. I do say the dirty little secrets of our faith. What variation of Christianity? Are we going to impose Catholicism? Are we going to oppose Protestantism? What is it? And what branch of Protestantism? And Catholics can be mad at me. There's more than one branch of Catholicism, too. You got the Sedevacantists and which one? Is it going to be like this mere Christianity? Like, it doesn't work. You can't impose that upon high as a Christian. And I'm sorry for, I don't mean sorry as in like I'm doing something bad, but I mean, I'm not trying to preach to my non-Christian listeners. But as a Christian, I believe that if someone is going to follow those teachings and that lifestyle, it requires a change of heart that's moved by the Holy Spirit, not by the iron glove of the state. And these Christian nationalists actually want like a Christian prince. It's like, did they learn nothing from the tyranny of Christian empires, of sacralism? Anyway, now let's play the clip from Cirrus. Now that I've set it up, we're going to let it play through. I'm going to agree with some things. I'm going to disagree with some things. And I want to stick my mic on mute while this is playing.
As News Channel 5 previously revealed, Pastor Andrew Isker and his sidekick C.J. Engel want to repeal the 20th century. They want to go back to America as it existed before the Civil Rights Movement. So you want the black people enslaved. Got it. Or at the very least, you want them separate and maybe not even equal. They want to go back to America as it existed before the Civil Rights Movement. They want to take away the rights of women to vote. Yeah, that checks out. And they are prepared to accept a Protestant dictator to achieve their goals. Oh, boy.
Okay. I think you see what I mean by the bounciness and how that's just a little, I don't know. I find that a little weird. All right. And when the pink-haired lady is saying, yes, she has very large tracts of land. Yeah, okay. and I'm not a member anyway. So let's just say sometimes my cup runneth over, but my goodness, they were very buoyant. But anime, whatever, I'm not sure, not into cartoons. Cirrus is very much a leftist. So Cirrus is going to just take everything to the extreme. So when he was like, oh, so there were some libertarian ideas planted in there. Oh, they want to go back before the Civil Rights Amendment. And of course, you know, Cirrus immediately goes to, oh, so you want black people not to have any rights. And of course, going back to before civil rights laws for the private sector is in fact a libertarian idea. We obviously do not want people to have less rights. We just don't want government coercion. I'm going to be doing shows on Matt Walsh's praising of that trashy white woman who called a 5-year-old child a slur. Now, do I think that should be illegal? No. So we'll deal into libertarian solutions to that sort of thing. But of course, Cirrus did the complete mischaracterization. But you have these, he mentions, I think they're trying to like start, I don't want to call it the equivalent because it certainly isn't an equivalent, but I'd say in concept, the same kind of idea of like how the libertarians are congregating in New Hampshire to do the Free State Project. They're trying to congregate a bunch of Christian nationalists in Tennessee to do their little thing. And you notice in there, what is baked into it is this, you know, rose-colored glasses, very strict gendered roles, you know, women don't vote, and ideas like that. And we're starting to see these strands even in persons who are not openly Christian nationalists, like Matt Walsh, where we're going to be doing a show on him where he was basically saying the only people who should be forced to pay taxes are women who choose not to have children or have children out of wedlock or men that are unmarried. And it was just basically this, I know people get overwrought when they compare things to The Handmaid's Tale, but that's a complete misunderstanding of the purpose of fiction. Fiction is supposed to be like more extreme than it really is. Like when we say in today's world, oh my goodness, 1984 wasn't supposed to be an instruction manual. Obviously, we don't mean that every element of it, any of it, is happening literally, but there is a meta narrative, a zeitgeist in it that is supposed to strike a nerve. And all of this imposing upon high these rigid roles and male supremacy and, this unrealistic view of what exactly tradition is. And a lot of it, I don't want to say a lot, I don't want to exaggerate. It seems to me a lot because I'm in the libertarian community. But there are people who are leaving libertarianism, and they're not leaving it maybe just to become centrist or just a bit moderate where they're going to smorgasbord here and there. They are like leaving for the most extreme moralizing authoritarianism. And I just don't know how you can exchange freedom for that. What is stopping you folks that believe in these sorts of strictures from just living that way yourself? Find yourself a wife who doesn't want to vote and just wants to be a baby machine, or bake pies, or whatever it is that's your fantasy. And I actually don't have a problem with you guys getting together in some community where it's like-minded people and y'all just do your freaky-deaky thing there. That's fine. But you want to politically impose this upon everybody else. And you used to know what freedom is. And I'm going to give a biblical analogy here, and I'm sure I'm going to mangle it, but Christians will know what I'm talking about. Jesus gave this parable about if you're an unrighteous person who was demon possessed, and the demon gets exorcised out of you, but you haven't straightened up your heart. You haven't cleaned your own internal house. The parable says the demon's going to go out and he's going to get 50 of his buddies and come back, and the end state of the man is going to be worse than the beginning. And it's like, how can you have tasted freedom and then go to this? And the fact that such a thing is being conceptualized into, some community in Tennessee. You all have been saying for years, I've been crying wolf. I'm telling you, I am not. It may never be a dominant force in this country, but Christian nationalism is in fact a danger. And perhaps I see it a little more clearly than some of my younger libertarian brethren, because I lived through the moral majority days. I was a young woman during the moral majority days, and I wasn't very politically active. I had never been before as a libertarian, but I was interested. And I was more interested in it from a religious perspective. As I've told people, in my 20s, I was very fundamentalist Christian. I went to the Reclaiming America for Christ conference in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We should probably look up when that was. Like, I was into it. So I see the signs again. But we are so much more divisive now than we were then, that I find it pretty, I find it a real threat in more so of a way than it was then. So we'll be doing a bit more on this. If you want to read up on what the Christian nationalists really are thinking, I mean, you can find CJ Engel on Twitter. Crap, I should have looked up what his Twitter handle is because it's not his name. But I'm sure you could Google, because again, he's one of the more prominent names. But if you want to read a book, I think it's Stephen Wolfe is the author that is putting out this ideology. Okay, that's really it I had for you. Just wanted to show you that this is catching the attention outside libertarian circles, outside of religious circles, to these left-wing commentators. Now, I'm going to be doing some critiques of Cyrus in some future videos, but ones I've got coming up, I've got a lot of Matt Walsh coming up. I am going to dip my toe a little bit into a critique that was done of Ben Shapiro. I'm actually going to be taking Ben Shapiro's side on this one. It doesn't have to do with politics. Ben did a video justifying or giving reasons or apologetics for his belief in God, and an atheist was rebutting him on philosophical grounds. I just thought the rebuttal wasn't very strong. So my goal is not going to be to try to convince you to believe in God or not. I was just really interested in the philosophical jousting. And so I'll dip my toes into those waters a little bit as well. So that's going to be it for this evening. Again, let me stick before we end, before I put my ask for support thing up, I'll put that up at the same time. Whoa, that's the wrong one. Where is it? That's just a rectangle. I have something that's just a rectangle. I don't know why. But Sean Dempsey from New Hampshire is one of my sponsors. He's one of my patrons. So if you're a top tier Patreon or patron at Patreon, I will promote your product if it's a liberty-oriented product, if it's not promoting Christian nationalism. So if you're into investing, check out Sean Dempsey's book, The Investor's Warp Whistles. You know that I've also promoted his children's books. He's very talented, writes quite a bit. And I would also, appreciate your support. Let's take this down. I know I missed a week of the Pink Parliamentarian and Jurassic Dictionary, and I hope to be recording some of those this week. It's been pretty busy just with a lot of other stuff I have had going on. I'm looking over here because I moved all of my controls, so I need to have my end button ready. All right, everyone, have an awesome night. Mi guapas de libertad.
You gotta take what you're given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe in the business, not because they wanna